may not be surprising that President Trump would label the left wing as a group of hooligans, but when Democrats buy into the term, they cause real damage to their party, and they do the right a favor.
Back in 2008, during the height of the Democratic primaries between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, MSNBC host David Shuster was suspended for 2 weeks for this comment.
Now just shy of her 28th birthday, Chelsea is out and about on her mom's behalf, campaigning in Nebraska as Saturday's caucuses approach. What is the Chelsea factor? Here again, our nationally syndicated radio talk show host Bill Press and online columnist Bob Franken.
She loves her mom. She thinks she'd make a great president.
But doesn't
Michelle
it seem
Obama's
like she's
out
being
there for her husband? So,
but doesn't it seem like Chelsea's sort of being pimped out in some weird sort of way?
No, she's there. Listen, if she didn't want to be there, she wouldn't be there. I mean, give Chelsea a break. I think it's great. Again, Michelle Obama's out there for her husband. What's the big deal, David?
Well, here's the big deal. I will give Chelsea Clinton a break when she sits down and gives an interview to somebody like Bob Franken, because if she wants to do all this stuff, then she should face the questions, right?
Did you catch that? Do you even know what the comment that he got suspended for was? Let me isolate it.
But doesn't it seem like Chelsea's sort of being pimped out in some weird sort of way?
No.
Yeah. Simply using the term pimped out as a slang to describe how Chelsea was being used by the Hillary Clinton campaign is what got David Shuster suspended for 2 weeks. But why? Hillary and Bill Clinton went to the top of the NBC food chain, all the way up to General Electric's board, to get back at MSNBC's David Shuster in 2008, according to Daniel Halper's forthcoming book, Clinton Inc. The Clinton campaign, Halper writes, wanted to make it look like men, such as David Shuster, were beating up on the woman who could be the first female president of the United States. So in a way to curry favor with voters, the Hillary Clinton campaign purposely made it seem like men were beating up on Hillary Clinton during the 2008 campaign. And if you don't want to believe Halper's account of this, then just watch Hillary Clinton herself responding to David Shuster's comments.
You know, I am a mom first and a candidate second. And I found the remarks incredibly offensive. You know, I can take whatever comes my way. That's part of what I signed up for as a candidate, as an office holder. But I think that there's been a troubling pattern of comments and behavior that has to be held accountable. So I have sent a letter to the head of NBC expressing the deep offense that I took and pointing out what has been a troubling pattern of demeaning treatment. And I would expect appropriate action to be taken.
So you likely agree that was a bit over the top. And someone else who agrees with that is current MSNBC host Joy Reid, who at the time had a blog called The Reid Report. And in her blog, she wrote this: the idea that David Shuster is some sort of Bill O'Reilly-esque figure because he made one slangish comment about Chelsea Clinton, who is 27 by the way, not 12, as she was when Rush Limbaugh and company lampooned her looks, is, well, kind of stupid and feminist reactionary, which is why I don't listen to feminists at all. My advice to the ladies of Now and Emily's List and Hillary's other supporters of the female and/or liberal persuasion is this: get your panties out of a twist. What they clearly believe is that this story is helping Hillary among her base, white women, and that they will respond to it in such a way as to get her back in contention at the polls. That calculation is cynical, highly political, and about as disingenuous as it is savvy. So in 2008, Joy Reid defended Shuster, for good reason, for what she called an overreaction by the Hillary campaign to curry favor with white women voters. But now, fast forward to this year, and David Shuster, who is now with I-24 News, put out this tweet and video saying, Democrats who appropriated the term alt-left to smear progressives should take a long, hard look at their own failings, says David Shuster. It's time for you, Joy Reid and Joan Walsh, to apologize for smearing progressives with the slur alt-left. So as Shuster points out, the term alt-left, before Donald Trump got his hands on it, was a favorite among neoliberals like Joan Walsh and Joy Reid, who used it as a way to smear progressives. And Shuster was not afraid to call them out.
It may not be surprising that President Trump would label the left wing as a group of hooligans, but when Democrats buy into the term, they cause real damage to their party, and they do the right a favor. Instead of labeling progressive activists with a slur, centrist Democrats would do better to own up to their own failures in language and in policy.
Now, the first one of these two to respond to Shuster's tweet was Joan Walsh. Completely avoiding the topic, Walsh says, "Hi David, I was wondering where you wound up. Best of luck." But Joy Reid had a more direct response, first saying this: "I'm not here for the bros playing victim. Come to think of it, the whiny, angry victim playing by mostly young white dudes seems familiar." And following it up in the next tweet where Joy herself is actually playing victim, saying, "Dear, wake me up when you take issue with those calling anyone who won't worship them neoliberals and attacking people, especially women of color." Okay, first let me point out here that unlike the term alt-left, neoliberal is an actual thing with a definition. And Naomi Klein had a good piece in The Guardian in November after Hillary lost the election explaining exactly what happened. Here's what we need to understand. A hell of a lot of people are in pain. Under neoliberal policies of deregulation, privatization, austerity, and corporate trade, their living standards have declined precipitously. They have lost jobs. They have lost pensions. They have lost much of the safety net that used to make these losses less frightening. They see a future for their kids even worse than their precarious present. So neoliberalism is an actual set of policies, with Hillary Clinton and her supporters being the modern day face of it. But now let's get to the second part of Joy's tweet, stating that progressives are attacking people, especially women of color. So do you see what Joy Reid is doing? Instead of directly addressing the criticisms that she's gotten for using the smear term alt-left on progressives, a term that Donald Trump himself is now using, she instead deflects. Much in the same way that she deflects when people criticize Kamala Harris, who right now is the Democratic establishment's pick for 2020. Instead of dealing with the heart of the criticisms, she claims that people are simply attacking women of color, a strategy that's not unlike Hillary's 2008 campaign. As I quoted earlier, the Clinton campaign wanted to make it look like men, such as David Shuster, were beating up on the woman who could be the first female president of the United States. A move that, once again, at the time, Joy Reid thought was cynical, highly political, and about as disingenuous as it is savvy.